All right, guys, we finally come to the end of the podcast. We're going to jump into the rental market as it pertains to statistics to individual landlords as well as property managers. So it's kind of like a behind the scenes look at some of the numbers of what property managers struggle with, why you might be interested in hiring a property manager because so many other landlords are struggling with the same things. Let's look at some of the behind the scene numbers that we're seeing on a national level. And let's just kind of talk about it. I'm just kind of curious about this. This is kind of I'm kind of for my own interest, going to read off some of these numbers, and I'm going to bore Mike with some of these. So let's dive into some of these, and let's see where it takes us. All right. So number one, and I've already mentioned this a couple times to Mike, so you should have it memorized at this point. But we're going to mention this first one again. 61% of property managers say maintenance coordination is their biggest day-to-day challenge. So number one, I guess, Mike, would you agree with that? Do you think is that something we at Red Door find one of our biggest struggles? What do you think?
Yes. I mean, maintenance is, you talk to any owner of rental property, and that's probably the number one complaint is maintenance, right? It's just a pain. It just is. It's just coordinating with the tenant, coordinating with the vendor, finding trusted vendors who are going to provide a good service at a good price. It's just difficult. It is unbelievable. And we have an entire maintenance department. We have full-time maintenance coordinators that's all they do. Like, they just work between the vendors and the tenants and the owners, and that's all they do. It's a tremendous amount of work to coordinate all this. It just is.
Yeah. And if hopefully we can only spend just a couple lines on each one of these as we can blaze through them. But I know that you and I could both go into a long spiel on each one of these data points. But yes, one of the top reasons new investors or even long-term investors, or if they've expanded their portfolio, the reason they're reaching out to a property manager is because handling the maintenance at a scalable level is very difficult. So having a property manager, not only that, hiring a trusted vendor is so difficult, right? You call someone you think is reliable and they don't show up. And doing that from out of state is absolutely unsustainable. You can't do it. So yes, 61% of all property managers say maintenance coordination is their biggest day-to-day challenge, and that is absolutely true. That is where a majority of our staff lies, so that we don't make it a challenge for our individual owners. All right, here we go. 40% of property managers still rely on paper-based systems for inspections and notes. See, that's why. See, this is going to excite me as we go through these. Wow. Yeah, right? 40% of property managers still rely on paper as they're doing their 40%, almost half.
This is for what inspections? Is this?
Yeah, for inspections. For what paper-based systems for their inspections and notes.
Wow.
No, we do video. We do photos. These are all online systems that we use. Gosh, it's only a matter of time before AI makes these systems even better. And if you're still on paper and pen doing your inspections, oh my gosh, this is what you're going to get. And not only that, the mistakes that are possible.
So error prone.
Very error prone. So in fact, if you're in search for a new property manager, maybe I'd be asking, do you rely on a paper-based system for your inspections?
That is a good question.
Absolutely. Right. And the answer is no, we don't. We are a very technologically based system. That is one way we're able to keep our monthly management fee at still a reasonable level. But we're still at a point where we're able to employ these systems so that we can protect your asset to the best of our ability. So there you go. 40% of all property managers use paper and pen.
Wow. You got to think if they're using it for the inspection that they're doing that at the office level too.
Exactly. Can you imagine? I can't imagine going back to that. It's not sustainable. It's chaos.
Yeah. That's crazy.
All right, here we go. 75% of property managers say they've lost clients due to poor communication. Now, this doesn't surprise us, right? But I had to highlight it. I had to mention it in these the 60 that I have to go through. I don't have 60, but I have a lot. I do have a lot that I want to go through. 75% of property managers say they've lost clients due to poor communication. If you've watched our podcast, this is exactly why, or if you've had me on the phone, this is exactly why we put so much money, so much effort into our communication platforms, our video communication platforms. Yes, if we know that if we excel in this area, we're taking 75% of the other property managers' clients because we're awesome at it, okay? So yes, we put a lot of effort in our communication platforms and abilities. So yeah, if you're an owner, you better make sure that the communications systems that your property manager that you're vetting has in place are top notch.
Yeah. How do you communicate would be, is it email? When we do email, text, video, phone, all the above.
Yeah, video. We do video. You and we maximize video communication.
I love me some looms. I do.
I love me some looms. That's it. All right, here we go. 58% of property managers say dealing with owners who don't approve repairs promptly is a top frustration. 58% of property managers. Okay, so well over half of property managers say that dealing with owners who don't approve repairs promptly is a top frustration. Yes, that is. I know that it's easy these days to get owners to understand why we have a $500 maintenance limit. Now we will reduce that. We absolutely stress the importance of not reducing that lower. In fact, gosh, you almost need to hire it these days. But $500 maintenance limit is absolutely essential to respond to maintenance concerns, because responding to those maintenance concerns is absolutely going to bleed into your tenant retention. Okay, so the numbers speak for themselves. Well over half of property managers say that dealing with owners who don't approve them promptly is a main concern, and that's a concern that we have. We understand as an investor, you don't want to spend money, but it's also important that we educate you. The reason to spend that money is to overall maximize your return.
Yep.
And having a property manager that isn't needlessly spending your money is important also. So
for
there
sure.
you go.
Well, it's like you got to have a level of trust with your property manager, because they're managing a huge asset for you. And what ultimately ends up happening is if you get a non-responsive owner, or if you have somebody who won't let you spend any money at all without approving them, what happens is you'll go out there, you'll send a contractor out there, they'll diagnose the problem, and if you can't get a response from the owner, then they're going to have to go on, and then they have to come back. Well, you've now incurred a trip fee. Now, I mean, the days of free estimates, that's over. Everybody charges, $100 to $200 just to go out and do anything. And so that repair now has doubled in cost a lot of times, because you've got to pay that trip charge, and you got to get them back out there to do the whole thing. And then not to mention, you've also irritated the tenant, because now you haven't fixed it in a timely manner. Now you got to get it back out there. You got to get rescheduled. Some tenants are weird and they want to be home for all of this. So now you introduced additional time, additional delay, and additional irritation to the tenant. And the more you do that with the tenant, the less satisfied they're going to be, and the less likely they are going to be to renew, which is then going to increase your vacancy rate, your turnover costs, all that kind of stuff. So it really does benefit you to respond quickly and have some trust in your property manager.
Yes, it's costing you a lot more than the immediately observable dollar that you're seeing in that repair. Yes, tenant frustration. All right, moving on. Only 38% of property managers use automated workflows for lease renewals or rent increases. Now this, you talk about what sets us apart from other property management companies. Mike, only 38% of other property managers are using automated workflows.
It's insane.
How are they surviving? How are they doing it? Well, they're not doing it efficiently and as effectively as they could. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Or all that. Yeah. I mean, it's the same people who are using the paper checklists,
Yeah, exactly. We have built these automated workflows to be efficient, not only for us, but for our owners. So there you go. What sets us apart? We have automated workflows for every situation that comes up with your asset. So there you go. It sets us apart from a large majority of them. Okay, here we go. The national average tenant retention rate is below 51%. Top tier property managers exceed 60 to 65%. So the only reason I'm highlighting this is because, well, we're top tier. All right, so we have a much higher retention rate than your average property management companies. So again, back to, I love patting myself on the back, and that comes to my association with Red Door Property Management. We're hitting that. We're hitting well above that, and that's due to all these other reasons that we've already mentioned. All right, let's keep moving this along.
Well, let me just add 2 cents on that, Chris.
All right, go ahead.
Just kind of just to highlight the mentality that we have here. So we actually incentivize our property managers to have a higher lease renewal rate. I mean, like that's one of their quarterly bonuses is based on achieving a certain lease renewal rate with our existing tenants. And the reason is because we want to be financially motivated. We want to be like on the same page with the owner. So if the owner wins, we win. And so that's kind of how we try to structure everything, is that it's a win-win situation for Red Door, for the owner, for even the tenant. And so anyway, just wanted to mention that we literally put our money where our mouth is. We bonus our property managers on a quarterly basis based on the renewal rate of the current residents.
Yeah. So the point there is not only tenant retention doesn't only affect your pocketbook as an investor, but also Red Door employees. So we are incentivized. Yes, tenant retention is absolutely top concern. Okay, here we go. Property managers who conduct at least one mid-lease inspection reduce tenant damages by 40%. Now, so a lot of property management companies will say that they do an inspection. Okay. Very few of them actually get it completed. Not only do we complete it, but it's our process that goes in place when there is a lease violation in place. So any damage that might be observable that is going to exceed normal wear and tear on a property, we do issue a 30-day lease violation to the tenant and insist that it be resolved within that 30-day time frame, or we discuss what next steps are appropriate. So we do hold the tenant responsible, and we are absolutely reducing tenant damages. So it's important. And not only that, our inspection, at least as of right now, is still included at no additional cost to you. It is included with your standard fee structure. So it is free to you. So that inspection is completed, shared with you, and then actioned as appropriate.
Yeah, and it is true that a lot of property managers don't do the inspection. So I mean, going back to communication and transparency, I mean, not only do we do them, but we send you the video. It's a video walkthrough of the home, and so it's sent to the owner. So I mean, there's like literally no doubt that A, we did it, or B, that you're not seeing the condition of the property. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight that we do a video walkthrough and we send it to the owners.
Yeah. Documentation of the property is very high on my list, is absolutely essential. So, okay, we're moving on. We're going to go on to renter behavior and demographics. Only got a couple here. So bear with me here. 30% of renters are actively looking for a new rental. So that talks to several different of these other data points. But tenant retention, why are they actively looking for a new rental? It's also why rent in real estate investment is still great. 30% of renters are still actively looking for a new rental property. So it's a great time to still get into real estate investment. No, it's not too late. The rental market's booming. 30% of them are currently looking for a new rental property. 66% plan to rent for at least 3 more years. Okay, so 66% of all tenants are planning to rent for at least 3 more years. You need to make every effort that those 3 years are spent with your property. That's tenant retention. Everything that we've mentioned is going to speak to how you can maximize your tenant retention. All right, 66% plan to rent for at least 3 more years. Median renter age, 39. Just thought that was interesting. Median renter age.
Oh, crazy. That is
I know,
so crazy.
right? I thought it would be much younger, right?
Yeah, I thought it'd be like 29.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, just making sure you thought the same.
Yeah.
Renter households now make up over 35% of U.S. households and growing quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're considering getting into real estate investment, yes, it's a great time to do so because that market's growing. 35% of U.S. households. All right, let's get into a couple landlord stats here. Now we're almost there. Yeah, we're almost there. We only got about 62 left. Landlord stats. Individual investors own about 70% of all rental properties in the U.S. Now there's this big push, what's the word I'm looking for? You know, everyone thinks that these large conglomerate investors are picking up all the properties. Well, that's not exactly true. 70% are owned by individual investors.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right, top 3 reasons landlords sell their rental property. And now we've can you guess? No, give me here. This is fun. We're doing this. I don't care. We're doing it. All right. top 3 reasons, okay, that landlords sell their rental property. Can you give me one?
Maintenance cost.
Yes, number 1, maintenance headaches. Maintenance headaches. 43% are selling it because of maintenance headaches. Hire a trusted property manager. You want to give me another one? Yes. I know it's kind of open.
Other than maintenance costs, I don't know. Money? Not enough money?
Poor cash flow. right? It's not making them any money. And then, so here we go. Maintenance headaches. 43% are unloading their properties because of maintenance headaches. Number 2, difficult tenants. Well, if you're new to this, difficult tenants is part of the game. Start with a property manager who knows how to handle difficult tenants. Well, we come across in the hundreds of properties that we manage. And then number 3 is poor cash flow, right? So just probably making poor decisions, which is leading to poor cash flow.
Well, or having a little bit of a, I think we see this a lot where investors have not a long enough time horizon, not a long enough outlook, and they're looking at this week or this month or this year. And real estate investing is about the long term. It is the long play, and so you're not going to get rich on cash flow on real estate. It's about the appreciation, the depreciation, paying down your mortgage, having an asset that's paid off in 10, 15, 20 years.
Exactly.
It's about all of those things. So yeah, there's going to be months or years where you will lose money in investing in real estate. And if you don't go into it with that mindset, of course you're going to get frustrated. And of course you're going to sell because you're not going to make $200, $300, $400, $500 a month right off the bat, buying a house. And I mean, of course you can do that, but you got to do some work, probably do a rehab and all that kind of stuff. But it's not about that. It's not about that. It's about having a longer time horizon for the rental home.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Now let's get into a category: rent prices and market trends. Here we go. Rent prices have increased 18% nationally since 2020, but growth has slowed. And this is the reason I want to mention this. Growth has slowed, averaging about 2% year over year in 2024 and 2025. So rent prices increased 18% nationally since 2020. We've seen that, right?
Oh, yeah.
But I do think that we are right in the middle of seeing that the other is true as well. It's averaging out now. It's not growing like it was. We get a lot of new owners. You know this as well as I do, that it's our vacancy is oftentimes new properties. New properties have a much higher vacancy rate than our properties that are having turnover, right? Because those are often trained landlords. They understand, they trust us. We run the analysis. We do minor rent increases as the market allows. But these new investors right now, they're still trying to capitalize on that 18%. And Westfield's a good idea. You start with this astronomically high rental rate where you need to tamper your expectations. Like to your point, you don't need to cash flow $500 off the bat. There are other advantages to real estate, and also know that boom that we were seeing from 2020, that is essentially over, in my opinion. We are seeing still modest increases year over year, but you're not jumping your rent by $300 on an annual basis.
No, it's not going to happen. I mean, we'll probably see that again, but who knows when that's going to happen? Again, it's about the long time horizon. You're never going to time the market. Nobody ever saw COVID coming. Nobody saw the increases like that coming, but you experienced it as an investor because you owned those homes. And so you're right. We're probably not going to see 20% year over year increases, but it's going to be a little bit, and then maybe something will happen. Then it'll be a big, and then a little, and it will average out over time. And again, have that long time horizon, and it will pay off.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Rental application. No, this is it. This is another big one. Okay. All right. Rental application fraud has risen by 17%. 17% in the last 2 years.
I would say 117%. Honestly,
I know. Right?
That's what we've experienced.
Yes. So my goodness, if you don't have the systems in place, and by judging by some of those previous statistics, a lot of property managers very likely don't have the systems in place to properly qualify your tenant. Or if you're trying to self-manage, my goodness, application fraud has increased, and we're seeing it here on the ground. Our applications team has had to become literally forensic scientists to identify fake IDs, fake pay stubs, and they can do it. And we see it every single day. So yeah, either have the systems in place to do it, or you better be really good at it as an individual landlord, or hire someone who's trusted.
I would be terrified to approve somebody as an individual landlord. Honestly,
new to this. Yeah. Can you imagine? No way.
No way.
No, that's I thought that was a staggering statistic there. Okay, here we go. We're almost there. I promise. Tenant preferences. Top 3 renter must-haves. Now, this is the only reason I'm mentioning this is because of the second one here. So top 3 renter must-haves. 63% of renters say that they must have in-unit laundry. Now, when I immediately read this, I read it as it must have a washer and dryer. I don't think that's what they're saying. They think that it just must have the ability for a laundry unit. What do you think?
I think that probably was geared more towards multifamily, is
Okay.
what it sounds like to me.
Probably right.
So yeah, I would say washer and dryer. So, but it's a different. The expectation is not there if you're doing single family homes. It's just
Agreed.
to have a washer dryer connection.
Yeah. So if you're thinking about washer, my recommendation is always I wouldn't. It's not considered expected now in single family homes. I would not provide them unless you have them. You don't need. I don't. Even then, I might even consider.
I would get rid of them. Personally, I would get rid of them. They're just they break down all the time. People treat them like crap. They're expensive to repair.
And it doesn't matter what you have in your lease agreement. You can say that you're not going to repair them, but it doesn't matter. The tenant's going to expect you to repair them, which then you have now a frustrated tenant. All right, here we go. I have to mention one other one in that category. Must have central air conditioning. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's 2025. If you don't have central air, you better be looking at putting it in. Okay. More than 40% of renters say flexible lease terms would be a key decision factor. I wasn't sure about this one. So we don't have very flexible lease terms. It is, and we do that, I think, for a reason. Maybe you'll say otherwise, but I think we do that for a reason. It's to set the expectation on the front end that, look, we want to be accommodating, but the terms are what the terms are so that both parties know what's expected of them. And if you're flexible on those, it gets real muddy real fast.
No. Sorry. As an owner, no. I want to know that my tenant's going to move out in April and not in November. So I don't want to have you could just give me 30 days notice and get out of here. No way. So
there you go.
I mean, maybe they want that, but I would say for a landlord, that is a terrible idea.
It's not in your best interest. Exactly. Yeah. So, but I thought that was interesting to at least be aware of. Okay. We only got 3 more and we're done. Nearly 25%. Nearly 25% of renters say online maintenance requests are non-negotiable. So 1 in 4, and we talk about these other property managers who are using paper and pen, but these 1 in 4 renters are saying that they have to have the ability to submit an online maintenance request. If you're an individual landlord, you don't have that ability. It's almost certain. Okay. As an experienced property management company, we of course do. Here we go. 2 more. Trend predictions. Here we go for 2025 to wrap this up. Increase in renter population from boomers 55 and over is projected to rise by 22% by 2030. Okay. Yes. I thought that was pretty crazy. So over the next 5 to 10 years, renting is the game that you want to be a part of.
Well, and you think about that. So boomers, what are they going to want? They're going to probably want ranch homes or at least a master on the main
level. That's right.
Yep. So, those little 3-bedroom, 2 baths, 1,500 square foot ranches are where it's at, and those are the ones, if you go back to our podcast, I mean, those are the houses that we're encouraging people to pick up in that, 250 to 300 range in Westfield or in Noblesville or whatever it is. So, I don't know. Maybe it's something to keep in the back of your mind if you're thinking about picking up a rental home here.
That's exactly right. That's before I even shared any of these statistics with Mike. Go back to our podcast, look at our market reports. It's exactly why our experience is leading to educate you on the type of investment property that you should be looking into. And that's because this information was already in our blood. All right, last one. Here we go. Tenant churn rates expected to rise by 10 to 15% as housing supply stabilizes. So not that much of an ending boom, but just an interesting fact, I thought. Tenant churn rates expected to rise 10 to 15% as housing supply stabilizes.
Cool.
That's it. That's going to wrap up our market statistics for an individual landlord and your property management companies. And I don't know what you think. I think a lot of good information there for conversation wise. And I know we're on the tail end of our podcast and we're like, let's wrap this puppy up. But I think there was some good, valuable information there, not only for us to continue to keep us as the experts in the industry, but also for anyone who's looking for a new property management company. So I think there's value there.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe. You're going to get all these individual segments that are broken up, but you can watch it from front to end at your convenience. All of our social media channels are listed at the bottom of those graphics. Check it out. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok even. Can you believe that? I don't even use TikTok that much, but Facebook, of course, Instagram, all those things. So be sure to check Find us out, like and subscribe, reach out with questions. If you're looking for a rental analysis, you know how to reach us. I've already mentioned several. Drop in the DMs. We'll get back to you here as soon as possible. Until then, we'll catch you in the next podcast.
See ya.